Everyone thinks because you're a zombie, you don't know good coffee. Well, they're wrong. There's only one brew that gets my seal of approval. Deadly Grounds coffee is my guilty pleasure. The aroma is so intoxicating. It brings all of my neighbors out of the woodwork. Deadly Grounds coffee. Coffee to die for and zombie approved. It's good to get a little deadly. Use the front door! Oh, they're so disgusting.
Hey everybody, it's Tuesday night. I'm Kevin. It's another live Wicked Horror Show. Sorry, I'm kind of losing my voice, but as always, I'm joined by Tony Has Nine Fingers.
What is going on, people?
And we have again with us tonight, we have Angel from That Strange Show. You doing, Angel?
How's it going, everybody?
Stop making fun of me. And we have a very special guest. We have Jaime Hill. What's going on, Jamie?
I'm excited to be here. Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, so you're in a bunch of really cool stuff. I've been seeing a lot of people talking about one of them in particular, Skinamarink, which is a great name, by the way.
Yeah, it's like the song, right? Skinamarink.
Well, yeah,
Almost.
When I was a kid, there was a show called Sharon Lewis and Bram's Elephant Show on Nickelodeon, like for little kids, and that was like their song. How they would close the show was with that, I think.
I loved it.
But yeah,
I loved it.
Yeah. So you remember?
Oh yeah.
But so are you in Canada? Because I saw some of the stuff that you were.
Yes, I'm Canadian.
Hey,
I live in Edmonton, Alberta. I'm originally from Vancouver. I lived in Nova Scotia, and I found my place in Edmonton, Alberta, which is just east of the West Coast.
Nice. That's cool. I've always wanted to make my way up to Canada. Maybe one of these decades. I live close enough. I'm in Massachusetts and I could drive there, but I've never gone. Whatever. But so just real quick, we already have some comments. We have 1987 McGengels or something. Can't help it but hear Skinamarink a drink. Skinamarink a do. And then yeah, it's then he corrected it saying not drink. And then we have Nick Olgan saying, "Hi guys, what's going on, Nick or Nikki?"
Hi, Nick.
Yeah. So I had the pleasure of watching Skinamarink. It's available online, but it may not be the most legal of ways. But it's available on I think it's called Goku.com or something like that.
It got leaked, yeah.
Yeah. But the thing is that it's getting a lot of talk. And I know horror fans like myself and like Tony and like Angel, when we find a movie that we love, even if we get to see it for free, we're still going to go out and buy it if we can, like if it's a physical release or something like that. That's something that we're supporters of that because we want to see more of this stuff coming. So what was your involvement in that? I know like it's a very different movie. Tony and Angel, have you had a chance to check it out?
No.
I've seen bits and pieces different places, and it's definitely something completely different than it's not like a movie that I've seen before. It's like it's like an art piece, really. Totally. More than anything.
That's what I was trying to figure out because I saw a little teaser, like a minute thing, and it was just like showing like these crazy like offset like shots, like just feet, and then like just in this house, and then just like distorting it, and all of a sudden I was like, huh.
Yeah. Well, the thing is and Jamie can speak to this. You never really see anyone's like actual face in this movie.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. The only time that you do, there's something up with it. So, so it's a lot of implied, you have to guess what's going on kind of deal. And that makes it extremely stressful and extremely, which is good. That's the point. It makes it's very tense because you don't know what's going to happen.
Yeah, I gathered that from the, like I said, the teaser that I got to see, and I did see a couple little headlines, last couple of days, talking about is this like the anxiety ridden like ride, what are we expecting out of this? I didn't go too deep into it because I didn't want to get anything spoiled, but I when you hear movies like, they're like, oh, they couldn't finish it, or like, oh, it gave people heart attacks, or oh, people were leaving the theaters throwing up. So like, yeah, it piques the interest, and like, there's a movie called Antrim that was like, oh, you can't watch this movie, like, so you go in already with a heightened state, but like the visuals that I did see, I'm like, okay, so I gotta sit down and like watch this, because it seems how it's
put yourself on the other side of the room, and you got to pay attention, and you're trying to find things the whole time.
Well, that's what it looked like remember those, like, I forget what they're called, but like,
before we really get into whatever, but Jamie, so that I'm assuming that was the intent of the filmmakers with this one, right?
It is. You see the back of my head.
Yeah.
I'm sitting on the bed.
Yeah.
You see us in the dark. There's a lot of clips. I carefully watched it too to see what was in the dark, because I know where I am in the dark.
Yeah.
And the two lovely children, I know where they are. And the voices are myself and Lucas's dad, Ross. So the dad, and I'm the mom. And Ross's son, Lucas, is also in it. And another young lady that we found. They were great. They were very young. It's been a couple of years. These guys found me in Edmonton. They're indie film. And they know I like horror. And, I've dressed as a vampire and some scary things before. So they knew I liked that kind of topic. So it's a very atmospheric film. And it takes place in, it's Kyle's house, the one he grew up in.
Oh, really?
So Kyle Ball had this house, and these are his stories that have come up through, his particular YouTube and going through Heck, which is kind of the beginning of that. And it evolved, and I got to be part of the feature of it.
That's awesome.
So Heck, because I did see that when I was scrolling through. So Heck is part of this world.
It gives him ideas. Yeah. Bite-sized nightmares is all Kyle Ball and his creativity. And this one was more of the nightmare he wanted to explain.
Yeah.
So
it's definitely
it's a nightmare.
That's the thing. And actually we have a comment where I guess someone had told you earlier, Tony, that about Malignant and how different it was, and that this hits it with that different as well. It's not anything like anything I've seen before. Like it's not even, it's almost on the vein of found footage, but it's not found footage at all. Like but it kind of has that almost vibe, but
and you could tell that from the trailer too.
Yeah,
I mean, just
very lo-fi. It takes place like 95, right? Is that when it takes place?
Yeah, we made it look back in the olden days. 95. I graduated in 95. Thanks a lot.
I graduated in 94. I'm older.
Okay. Oh, thank goodness. I don't sound like it, but I've been watching horror films for many years, and this one is certainly one that would have confused me when I was young, because it's nothing like what I've seen.
Yeah.
And it's not Skinamarink with the two N's. There's that one different. It's not the nice Skinamarink that we watched when we were young.
Okay. I didn't even realize I'm horrible with spelling, as you can tell, because I messed up your name earlier. And I apologize for that. I'm the worst. So I posted everything. I spelled her name right on the actual thumbnail, and I spelled it wrong everywhere else.
Sick.
So I went back and corrected it all. But
that's why I got alerts. It was like, I'm like, Kevin tagged this son, and it was
I looked at it. It was like
deleted.
Deleted.
Anyways, simmer down. So it's been fixed. I just know I did it like 2:00 or wicked late last night. But so but like, and not, I'm not trying to compare it to anything like this, but like, it's so different. It's kind of like way back in the, way in the 90s, or I think it was 90s or maybe early 2000s when the first Blair Witch came out.
99.
And it was, it had a different vibe than anything else that was out there. And, because there really wasn't the internet like it is now, it didn't have the chance to be leaked like this one has. But it's something where I haven't heard anything negative about it. Like the reason that, like, and I forgot when Tony mentioned that you were going to be coming on and that you were from this movie. I hadn't heard anything at that point about the movie. And then I started hearing about it. And then when I was like, hey, do we have anyone for Tuesday? He's like, yeah, we have this woman, Jaime Hill from Skinamarink. And I'm like, oh my God. Yeah. Okay. That's awesome. I've been hearing like a ton about this movie. So I highly recommend it. It's definitely different. It's a slow burn. I know Tony knows how much I love a slow burn, especially when there's payoff.
But
it's good payoff.
From what I see though, is it's a different styles, because you have like your slow burn movies where it's like acting and it's very slow and methodical. From what I saw, I'm like, this is something, because it's like there's nothing. It's almost seems like it's almost your imagination kind of deal, where like you always have that. You have that like what's in the dark, like there's nothing there, but your mind is one of those like, is there something there? Like, am I seeing something or am I not? So I'm sure that everybody gets a little bit of something different from the movie, because I'm sure their eyes bring you back to maybe a time when you were in a dark place and you're like, what's in there? Because everybody's mind acts differently. So
you see something like something in the closet, you're like, oh my God, there's a face looking at me from the closet. You turn the lights on and it's a blanket. Sergio's in the chat room. He just wants to say hi to everyone. What's going on,
what
Sergio?
Up, Sergio?
But yeah, so it's so like you how did you get this again? It was like through like a YouTube thing, or because you said we were chatting a little back and forth on Instagram, and you work at a haunt as well. Like you volunteered time in a haunt. So is it all kind of inclusive in this? Is that what brought you to this?
It started, volunteering at the haunted house. I went there once. I saw them and I wanted to do what they did. Nice. I didn't really know, but I had a good feeling that I could cackle like a witch, and I can. So then I started getting roles as different witches or vampires, and having makeup put on and pictures being posted where Kyle had also seen me in different films with Brandon Reines. We had been working together a couple of years. And so sort of putting the two families together, I sort of became an actor in horror films in Edmonton.
Nice. Now, is there a big community? Is there a big in Edmonton? Is there a big horror community? Yeah. Yes.
Alberta has two big communities, Calgary and Edmonton. We all love doing our film. Calgary is well known for Jan Arden's show. Ghostbusters was filmed here. Oh, nice. There's a lot of cool land out here. So we've really ventured out into promoting indie film, and we have a small group, probably about 30 different people of a team that we squeeze into. Sometimes there's only 6 of us. Mm-hmm. And, I've gotten to work with all these different people, and it's amazing. It really is amazing. So everybody knows that I'm Jaime Hill. I sound like Vanellope or a witch. And, I like doing scary things like scaring people at a haunted house or making scary movies.
That's awesome.
And that's how they found me. And Kyle found me on there. He had seen me in the haunted pictures. And then also Brandon Reines, we had also done a movie called I'm Haunted. It's on YouTube. It goes in 63 episodes. Oh, and wow. That's a family affair, as I would say, because my mom is also in that one too.
Oh, really? I got to check that out. That's cool. That's cool. So like, when did you decide to get into acting? Was it after the haunt, or was it something you had dabbled in? Because I saw it. Didn't you say something? There was something like once your kids got older or something like that, you decided to jump in on things. So that's the situation.
Pretty much. When I was 15, I lived in Vancouver. I went to New Image and got training with them when they were quite new, and Charles Stewart was still way new back then. Tori Spelling's dad was always in the office, and it was really exciting back then. So I took courses, and then my grandparents got sick, and I left the Lower Mainland in Vancouver. And in the 90s, you can't really do a lot of acting. So I went on with my life, got a Bachelor of Science in Nursing, learned a lot about communication, put the two together of how I learned with the acting skills and communication skills over the years. Now I'm 45. The kids are grown up. I'm going to be a grandma soon. I figured, what can I do? I finally took the step to do the voiceover and the acting that I've always wanted to do. And now I have the self-esteem to do it.
That's awesome. That's great.
Thank you.
If anything, that makes me feel like a little hopeful as a guy that's always wanted to dabble in that stuff, that I'm like, I'm too old now, you know? But I don't know.
There's no age. There's no age.
Yeah. Well, there's also no talent. That's the problem.
No, sorry, can't fix that one.
Well, I can try. I can fail miserably. But
there you go.
So that's cool that you do voiceover stuff too. So like, what kind of stuff are you doing with that? Because that's something else that I've also been extremely interested in over the years. I follow voiceover actors. Like I can pick them out in commercials because I'm like, oh, that guy's awesome, or whatever, cartoon actors and stuff like that. So what do you do?
Well, voiceover was always something that interested me. I always wanted to be a cartoon character starting when I was a teenager. My voice hasn't really changed, so it's always been kind of high and squeaky. And I decided I want to be a Disney character. Like I said, that was in the 90s, and life carried on. I used my voice in a different way. I joined Army Cadets, and I got to march around and yell at commands and grow as a person that way. And I just started exploring with my voice, making different noises. And that's how I had an idea that I could cackle. Yeah. I did birthday parties for my kids when they were young, and brownies and sparks. And I could get my voice to go quite far.
Oh, wow.
You can hear me where I am. So as I evolved my voice, because I was pretty quiet way back then, I've come to realize that the witch cackle and, that noise has always been something that I wanted to show others. The haunt helped that evolve. Clubhouse happened. I'm not sure if you guys know what Clubhouse is. It's a social media app, something similar to Yahoo Chat, which was one of my favorites. Clubhouse has helped me introduce to so many voiceover people. Mark Redfield found me on Clubhouse, and he did the Frankenstein Mobsters and asked me to be the witch Miss Cacto. So you can hear my cackle on an audiobook now from Mark Redfield, and it's usually on Instagram. A lot of stuff of mine is on Clubhouse and Instagram.
That's
so
awesome.
If you download that, you can listen in there. There's a few books, I think 8 different ones. He's put a really cool story together.
Nice.
Wow. So that's a good place to check out if you're interested in trying to get into that kind of stuff. Because that's the thing too. Is it's very intimidating. Like I was going through looking at all these different like outlets and stuff like that, and it's like I have nothing. I have nothing, and like I'm gonna walk in and be like, "Hey guys."
They're like, you're hired. Perfect.
Yeah, perfect. You have the perfect face for radio.
You never know, bro.
Come to Clubhouse. No, it's true. Come to Clubhouse. Say hello.
I'll wait for my voice to come back, and then I'll check.
That's you get jobs with that voice, bro.
No, because then I'll have to cough a lot. I don't want to do that. Sergio's asking if we have trailers. We actually do have trailers.
Yeah,
we have a trailer for the one we were just talking about, Skinamarink. We also have the one for Grotesque, which is streaming right now on Tubi.
I watched it.
The exact like opposite. Well, actually, to tell you the truth, a lot of movies are the exact opposite of Skinamarink. It looks, but I mean, Grotesque is that horror comedy that I love the mix between. I've said it all the time, where you can take 2 different genres and kind of smash them together and make a movie. Yeah, because it has its gore scenes. It has its comedy. It just has a little bit of everything. It's almost like
some splatter.
Not like a teenage drama, but it's like one of those like Clueless or like one of those like girly movies. So it's a little bit of everything combined into
coming of age tale.
Yeah,
wonderful coming
there's
of
some little
age
things
tale.
that really like got a chuckle out of me for sure. It's like, all right,
yeah,
you know,
play that
like,
trailer because it's.
I will. I want to play the one for Skinamarink first, but
I must say, I just wanted like we were talking before how it's getting, you know, I guess the good and bad thing is it's getting so much publicity that with movies like that, it does unfortunately get leaked. But it also on the other side, like when Terrifier 2 was going, I heard it everywhere and anywhere. Like everywhere you turned, it was Terrifier 2. Then it's still getting talked about. But Skinamarink is now that. Like I'm a part of the TikTok, which I think a lot of people that are in the chat now, which are awesome you guys came. But I see it. That's the one thing. We have our outlets where it's on Instagram and stuff like that, which we're known. Okay, we know what movies are coming out. But when you see it on TikTok with people that usually don't talk, like horror movies or whatever, when they're like, okay, you have to see this one, like bigger TikTokers, you know, when it blows up there, it's going to blow up everywhere. And that's what I've heard for the past like week and a half. It like started small and then it just grew.
4 months ago.
What? Because I saw it like within the last couple of weeks is when I saw it like everywhere.
It may have been like Terrifier had to calm down a little bit before like it got through it because it maybe was a combination of everything. But I mean, and if anything, I think, I mean, I love Terrifier 2.
Me too. They're my friends.
We've had most of them on the show. Yeah, David Howard Thornton. I was just up in upstate New York a couple of months ago moderating panels for him. I had a voice then. You know, the one thing I think is huge is that that's a completely independent movie, very you know, pretty low budget for what it is, especially
very exciting. It is.
And it's I think it's going to open a lot of doors for a lot of really cool like indie films. So I'm excited for everything because it just means I'm going to be able to see even more cool stuff. But anyways, before we go off on a tangent about that, I know him. Yeah, I want to play the trailer for Skinamarink. We'll come back and we'll talk about Grotesque and the Boneyard Racers, which looks really cool. And I was hoping so bad to see it. There is a way to see it, but I just don't have that. I don't have the ability to do it myself. But anyways, here is the trailer for Skinamarink, and we'll be right back.
In this house, in this house, in this house, in this house, in this house.
That doesn't leave you asking questions. I've seen the movie and I'm asking questions. And just real quick, it's hit. He's saying it's one of the guys in the chat, someone that Tony knows, saying that it's hit in Scotland. So they're talking about it in Scotland. So there you go.
Dude, the sound design on that.
And that must mean it's very late for you guys. It's probably like 1 or 2 o'clock in the morning. For you guys.
Sergio saying there's no way that he's going to see this movie just because it's too, it's too scary for him.
And the thing that I enjoy, well, that's different about it too, is just the graininess of the camera work. I'm guessing the whole movie has that that old school VHS kind of deal to it. So, and the other thing with the movie is it doesn't look like there's a whole lot to it, needed to make it. So what was it made for? Was it like a micro budget, or was it like a low budget, or
it was made during the pandemic and stuff, right? So I'm assuming it was micro budget.
We did a crowdfunder. Actually, it worked out really good. I had a lot of fun helping Kyle share that, and I knew I was going to be the mom in it, which I have a lot of roles where I'm the mom, but I let local Edmonton Indie know that this was something I was really excited about, and we just kept sharing it, and we ended up getting everything we needed, and it was made, as a passion project also, to help Kyle, because I really do like helping all the young creators, the artists out here with all their little things that create bigger things.
Yeah. So were you expecting the attention that it's getting? Like, is it something where you're like, all right, we got something on our hands? Wait, what? This one? Huh?
Yeah, 225,000 views on the Fantasia website of the trailer today. It just blew my mind.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, it's really cool to hear. I mean, it's like I don't know any of you guys, but I'm still at the same time too. I'm like, you look at the cast. There's only 4 people in the cast. Mm-hmm. You look at how it's made and what it is, and the fact that it's getting hype is that I'm it makes me proud to be a fan of horror. Some of our other fans aren't stupid. That's great. They're willing to check out other cool things. Yeah. So that's awesome. So I'm excited for you guys for sure, and hopefully it opens the doors for all of you to some bigger and better things. But off the subject of Skinamarink, because we've already talked about it a bit. So Grotesque, yeah, which is on Tubi right now. And it's a good time for sure.
Yeah.
There's a few parts that literally okay, she's running after this person, then it just turns into a skip. I don't know why that made me laugh, but that made me laugh.
Yeah.
And but yeah, so same deal. Is this all within your community of actors, or was this an outside thing? Or
no, this is my community. Brandon Reines wrote and directed this one, and many others. A few years back, we started out with Hotbox. There was quite a few people on that. I got to shadow Brandon and their team for many years now, and Grotesque ended up being the one that took about a few years to make because COVID happened. So we finally got it out, and Elizabeth Chamberlain, I got to see her evolve over the last 3 years as a singer and an actress and everything, because she's multi-talented. And Brandon Reines has been writing more and more and putting more things out on his website, on YouTube. That's Higher Universe, and I hope you guys get to meet him soon.
That'd be cool. Yeah.
He's done so many fun things. Grotesque is a comedy. I love comedy. I just like making people laugh.
Yeah.
I don't really I like scaring people on the haunt, but I really just like people. I like to make them laugh.
I think that's kind of like a common thing with people that are into horror. I mean, maybe not everybody, but a lot of the horror actors that I've met, I mean, a lot of them are pretty funny. And I don't know, I'm the same boat. I like both comedy. I try to make, one of the things I do to kind of break the ice when I'm doing stuff at a con or whatever is I try to make someone laugh. Hey. That'll be all right, I'm a little more comfortable now. I got him to chuckle.
Knock.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. But
I dug the shit out of the Grotesque. I in the beginning I was like, what? And then it was there's a little switch, maybe about 10-15 minutes in, because it starts off pretty character hard, this you meet everyone right away. So you're trying to figure out oh, I don't like this person. Oh, okay, this person's cool. Like, fuck that guy, you know. And then I'm like worried about like the people, and then I'm like, no, this movie, let me fucking turn all that shit off. And then it was just like, fucking, yeah, this was awesome. It was a good time.
Well, that's what I loved. I liked, you know, in the beginning, you learned, it's like, okay, if these people are all going to be in this movie, this is who I want to be killed. And this is who I want just to, you know, and you had your, okay, hopefully by the end of this movie. And some people took a little bit longer throughout the movie to finally meet their demise. But it was definitely one, like I said, I love where you could take two different genres and kind of mash them together into this thing. And it was like, okay, it's a story that's, you know, been told before. It's kind of like revenge type deal, but it's told in a different way, in a different style that I definitely enjoyed.
Yeah, there's definitely some revenge. I thought there was a little bit of the burning homage with the shears above the head. Yeah, you know, and bunch of 80s, 70s horror type deals, some splatter stuff.
It was definitely fun. Have you been able to dabble in multiple comedies, or is this like your first one?
With Brandon, Hot Box we did was a comedy.
Okay.
And we had a lot of fun in that. There was probably, I think we had over 80 actors at one point because there was a party scene.
Wow.
Oh, okay.
It was a lot of fun. It's got a lot of storylines too. That's on YouTube also.
How about check that one down too?
Yeah, comedies have also been my love. So whatever I can stick my toes into, I've been helping students at NATE in Edmonton here. A lot of their scripts are comedies, and you know,
I mean, Canada and comedy kind of go hand in hand for me. There's a lot of comedies I love from Canada. I don't know what part of Canada, but like Kids in the Hall. I'm sorry, but I don't know where they're from. But yeah, Canada's and then SCTV back in the day too. And most of those actors. So I it's like Canadian humor and like British humor. I like both very dry, and I like them both a lot. So it's not as like punch you over the head as it is in the US sometimes. So I appreciate that. But anyways, so we have people already asking for the trailer for Grotesque.
Well, just give the synopsis. So it's lovable psychopath Mildred Moyer doesn't take kindly to her back alley plastic surgery operation getting botched and unleashes vengeance on everyone from her past who tormented her about her looks. But there's so much more than just that little synopsis.
Totally.
I just love how deep it goes. Like, it's like, who can I do now? Dude, it's like, I remember you from 45 years ago.
Yeah, that scene where she's like, who now?
All right.
I was like, why? I was like, because fuck it.
So here's the trailer for Grotesque. And again, this is streaming right now on Tubi for free. And go watch it because filmmakers actually get paid from Tubi.
Oh, so they do. They do.
Yeah. So here we go, and we'll be right back.
Whoa. Watch it, new girl. You almost poked out my eye with your nose.
Don't be mean. It's not her fault she was born deformed.
You could be attractive if you just fixed your nose. I know a doctor who can take care of it real cheap.
Is it normal for plastic surgeons to work out of strip club basements?
It's been happening more and more. I'm gonna make you beautiful, Mildred.
Thank you so much, Dr. Walsh.
Now just count backwards from 10. And when you wake up, you'll be a new woman.
Dr. Walsh!
Oh my God, what happened? Where is your nose?
I don't know. The doctor wasn't there when I woke up.
Get away from me, you brain breaker! Stop!
Oh my God. I killed my roommate and my sister, so I can't go home. The police are probably out looking for me.
My brother shot a cop and he's on the run. Who am I to judge?
Good. Because a whole lot more people are gonna die. Hello, cruel world!
So, why'd you do it?
Kill all those people?
Yeah.
Psychotic cathartic release.
You're still casually suicidal. It's one big cycle you can't ignore.
There you go. That doesn't say go to Tubi after the show and watch this. I don't know what does. I added it to my queue, and it's one that I'm going to recommend for my wife as well. I think she would think.
I actually watched it with my wife tonight, and she enjoyed it too.
Yeah.
So,
nice. And it's like something where like there's some things that are implying like adult stuff, but it's doesn't show anything.
In the movie,
yeah. Well, getting at the urinal, cutting things off. You know what I'm
Here
saying?
you go. Take that with you.
Right, but they don't show anything. So
and that's it. And that's the thing. Like, you know, we've seen a ton of movies, and you know, we've seen the cutaways and all this kind of stuff. But like, I feel like that's like a little bit of the magic with the movie, because then they spend the time with some of the over the top kills that like satiate that, you know, that want for the visual. You know what I mean? Because like you can't show everything. But like the parts that it did show as like full bore was like, oh fuck yeah, like this. Like,
oh, I gotta say the one scene with the jump rope where she like trips herself. I was like, is that like wasn't supposed to be there and they kept it in the movie, or was it supposed to be like, oh crap? No, I like that one. I rewinded and laughed at myself. I was like, that was pretty funny.
Yeah, so that's obviously way different than Skinamarink. So shows your it's way different. So it shows your range for sure. But yeah, so that seems like a really good time. So I'm assuming that was a good time to film that. It started during the pandemic. You said it took 3 years to make.
Yeah, Brandon started. It was even before COVID that we started the trailer. We did the trailer first, and.
What do you got there, doggy?
Yeah. Come here, Toki. Come up. He's also the dog for set. Come.
Whoop.
There he goes. Okay.
Yeah. Oh, your little dog. I got a little dog.
His little dog.
Very cute.
He makes people happy on set. Grotesque.
We right here. So let's go.
Many seasons. We were spring, fall. We had to get around different trees and weather. The campground, we went there in May. I think it was May or June.
Yeah.
We had a blast. We rented the two. It's an Elk Island Resort here in Alberta. And we rented the cabins and stayed the night just to watch everything and make sure nothing got touched. But we had a blast just getting to know each other as actors and just regular people. And it took a little while in different locations, for sure, a lot of different locations. And Chez Pierre, they helped us out in Edmonton. We love filming in there. It's a very old building. However, it made the perfect place for us to film Grotesque. So that's all over Edmonton, some of the outskirts of Edmonton.
That campground was beautiful. I would totally go on vacation and stay in those cabins because the cabins, like they just looked awesome.
They're great. Yeah, they're great. We were actually just there again on a different film set this weekend.
Oh, really?
It's a wonderful place to film.
That's awesome.
So you say it's like a tight-knit community in acting. Like we notice in America, we have our own little, we call them the Rat Pack, where a lot of the people work with each other on multiple movies and stuff. Do you find it the more you work with each other and the easier it gets and the smoother the situation goes?
Yeah. It's been about almost 5 years now working with different teams. And I definitely can migrate right into the teams. I always have a happy, bubbly demeanor. So I'm always invited on set to do production assistant or craft services or act on it. Just like being in that atmosphere. So even marketing, Grotesque, I got to do lots of the crowdfunding for Brandon.
That's awesome.
So like the Facebook, that kind of stuff.
Yeah, it must be. So, are you still working as a nurse? Like, are you still doing that? Like, because I know you said you got your no.
No, I have a Bachelor of Science in Nursing from Dalhousie, in Nova Scotia, East Coast. I graduated in 2009. I never became a registered nurse. I have a bachelor's degree. However, I didn't pass the NCLEX exam. My disability, I have a learning disability. I have ADHD, and I made it a little hard. And you know what? I followed my quirkiness and realized I wanted to be a comedian. I wanted to be funny. I wanted to do films again. And nursing just helped me evolve into working with people with mental health. Now I worked most of Alberta Hospital as a psychiatric aide for a little while. And now I've been working more full-time as a production assistant, an actor, and a voiceover actor.
Wow. Nice. That's awesome. It's cool that you're able to do what you really, really love. I was going to say, because it's like, how do you juggle that? Like, because I know, because both my parents were nurses. So I know like there's a lot of time and a lot of everything. So I was like, wow, you must have like a ton of energy to actually be able to pull that off and also pull this stuff off. So, but it's the other way around.
It's the other way around. Definitely. Yeah. Certainly an advocate for mental health. I get tired very easily. And now I'm an advocate on podcasts, and like Tea with Mike is an Edmonton fella that we chat with, and mental health is one of my topics. I discuss a lot. Mental health in horror, making people laugh, whether it's funny or scary, is a good positive thing for someone to have a release. And that's what it comes down to.
Well, especially in like,
I want it to be funny, so I kill people now. Amazing.
but with comedy, especially nowadays, well, not only nowadays, but they always say that humor comes from like dark places. A lot of the comics you see are depressed and stuff, so they to either make themselves feel better or make everybody feel better. That's where comedy is, deeply rooted. So I think there's a lot of, mental health stuff in, not only comedy, but I'm sure every step of, because everybody thinks that, it's only limited to certain people, but then you see a lot of these stars and like major, big names that you would think, oh, they have the perfect life, and no, mental health affects everyone. So
everyone,
there's no discrimination.
No, we're all humans, and our brains are all the same. Anxiety is a different level, and it can be worse from
you
things in your life.
You could be screaming inside right now, and I'm like, "Hey, man, how you doing?"
Oh, I know. Believe me, I know. So just out of curiosity, like growing up, were you, because Sergio usually asks if like what your favorite horror movie is, but so growing up, like, were you a horror fan, or was it something that you came across as you got older? Or
I wasn't allowed to watch scary movies.
Oh, really?
So I watched Goonies. That was my favorite movie.
That's a good one.
Any adventure. But the scary ones I wanted to watch was like Freddy Krueger. I got to watch Freddy Krueger for the first time. I was 13. It was Mickey Sidhu's birthday party, and we watched Freddy Krueger, and I was so happy. It started my love of that whole, too many movies to watch. Yeah, and it never ended.
Yeah, you always remember like the first movies that really just creeped you out, and I mean that was an early one for me too. Same.
Poltergeist.
I was gonna say Poltergeist for me.
Mine was Trilogy of Terror and Child's Play. Those were
Child's Play too.
Burned into my psyche as a 5-year-old.
The clown under the bed. The clown under the bed in Poltergeist still gets me to this day. I know it's coming, and I was like, here it is. It's coming.
And the face rip scene, until they enhanced it, it looks nothing like it used to.
But still, when you're a kid,
yeah, when he's in the mirror and he's ripping chunks of his face off, it's like, okay.
But anyways, now that we're talking about that, I want to definitely touch on Boneyard Racers, because you had mentioned that when we were talking in
is that funny?
Instagram. It doesn't. I mean, it looks like it's a short, so it looks like very cool colors and everything, like a rockabilly-ish kind of dragster kind of fun.
Mhm.
It looks awesome. Like the look of it is looks sick. And
All right,
that's
let
when
me-
you're like, oh, it's available to watch here and here and here. I guess you have to be subscribed to I think it's called Shorts TV or something like that.
What is it? Boneyard Racers?
Boneyard Racer. Yeah, Racers or whatever. So you have to be subscribed to that. I don't know if that's only in the US, but because it mentioned Pluto TV, it mentioned all these other things, and I have all those. I have Prime, but it wasn't findable on any of that. But if I had the Shorts TV, but whatever.
Let me see. Here.
So yeah, that one looked like a good time. You said that you guys were dancing on set to I'm assuming the music video, like that song that's in the music video.
Yeah, Punch Drunk Cabaret. My husband, he was beside me in the red cover suit. He's also in it with me. He's also a haunter in the Rutherford Manor Haunt too. And that's who most of the people in Boneyard Racers, that's why I met them. They are from the haunt. So
Nice.
they evolved their love of film into different TV shows. I met Preston on the haunt, and he became a company with David and Brimstone Pictures. They found Neil Chase, and he wrote this Boneyard Racers, and it's about a couple who are racing their car, and there's different reasons you race your car, but these pink slips are really important.
Oh, so you said is your husband in that band and also acting?
He's not in the band. He's in acting with me. He's done a couple different films too. He's in I'm Haunted and the other ones too.
I want to play the trailer for that because it just looks really cool.
I'm looking at the website, boneyardracers.com.
Yeah.
Go check it out.
Yes, we have a website.
It looks awesome, and I just want to figure out how to see it. But anyway,
and you got to find the Facebook fan club because Rutherford Manor and Boneyard Racers, we all blend because we're basically the same family. So I run that, and I will always be sharing my love for Rutherford Manor. It was a TV series idea, a board game idea, and it's evolving as we speak.
Wow.
All right.
Angel's like TV, then board game. Yeah. So, anyways, here's the trailer for Boneyard Racers, and we'll be right back. About a minute 27. Here we go.
I'm too tired for the devil tonight.
Whatever happens, don't stop.
I'm too tired for the devil tonight.
Sweet. A Halloween drag race.
I've been bitten, I've been drained by a host of appetites. I'm too tired for the devil tonight.
There's one thing I learned. Can't waste time on regret. Hey, Johnny. Look what the cat dressed.
I'm too tired for the devil tonight.
Let's race.
I'm too tired for the devil tonight.
I love you, Sam.
My bones become lead.
I love you, Jackie.
Like a bloodless parasite. I'm too tired for the devil
There you go, Boneyard Racers. And so, besides looking really cool, it seems like there's a cool story, obviously, too. I really just want to figure out how to see it. One of these days. If I figure it out, guys, I'll let you know. But yeah, so was that like it was a short? So how long is the actual full like film?
I'm not sure exactly yet because Preston, David, and Neil are making the feature. We're just working on things and figuring it all out. So the Vampire Girl and Frankenstein, that's who my hubby is. You could see us standing and dancing on the right hand side.
Nice.
We'll be around again.
Nice.
I just don't know when. I'll let you know.
Cool.
It looks good. Like
it looks.
I don't know. I was trying to like
give it a second.
But
good.
There's look, I love the colors. I'm looking at the stills right now. The whole vibe, what I'm getting. I don't want to speculate too much, but with the devil and all that stuff and the drag race, that's right up my alley.
Yeah. And it's won a bunch of awards and stuff too, right?
Yeah, I did see that. It was like rows and rows and rows of awards banners.
It's done quite well. Yeah, they went through the festivals first.
Now have you like as
25 awards?
4, 5, 25. Yep. Okay. It's Massachusetts counting right there for you. Can't like everything. Cars and the Devil, but the rest awesome. Okay.
Who's that?
That's the dude that's in Scotland, right? That's him.
Yes. Yep. McEngels.
I can like everything, and I do. No, I don't like everything, but like there's plenty of that I'm sure you like that I don't. And we can argue about it. No, but movies and stuff. So as an actress, because I'm always curious, like, have you ever been able to go to like any premieres or anything of your movies? Like, did they have any like big premieres? Like, I mean, I know during the pandemic, obviously things slowed down a lot with that. But it just seems like a really cool event. Like, have you been able to do any of that?
We did. We had 2 big premieres of Grotesque. It was a blast. Preparing for it, being online on social media, letting people know that, I was all excited to go just because that's my personality. And I really wanted to bring people from Edmonton into Grotesque to see how we use this beautiful little town and city and everywhere around. And the people that they know, they're not just people who are bakers or even police officers. There's people who are actors and who come in to start being actors, and I've got to know them, and they're evolving too. So it's an always working relationship, and these guys have definitely stepped up in Edmonton.
That's awesome. That's good. It's good to have your community behind you as well.
Mm-hmm.
That's pretty awesome. And so I'm jealous because I know in my community they're not behind anybody. So they always make it like as hard as possible. But whatever. There's ways around that, right?
Yeah.
Guerrilla filmmaking.
We have film festivals too. Edmonton Short Film Festival. I always volunteer there. We got to show lots of different videos and films that we've been working on with. There's like 5 different groups that I worked with. I got to see on the big screen, and it's such a humbling thing to know that your friends are just working that hard, and you're there to represent them in the screen, and it's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Do you have any horror movie conventions like in Jersey? We have 3 big ones, like a New Jersey Horror Con and Monster Mania. Do you guys have that in Canada?
Well, we have some. Toronto and Vancouver are the big locations, right? And a lot of Comic-Con type things. And like Rutherford, we've been there definitely a few times. It's evolving. I have my passport. Mark Redfield's traveling everywhere with Daniel and Rob Zombie's even in Frankenstein Mobster. So I'm hoping to travel with them too. Canada, when Skinamarink really does come out more, because we were in Toronto and so far at a film festival. Once it comes out, I can't wait to travel more.
Oh, totally.
A few different things in Toronto I can't wait to go to. And LA, I've got a mentor that I met 3 years ago, Facebook groups. And a lot of those filmmakers are in LA. We're going to meet up soon now that, you can finally travel. So that's definitely looking forward to traveling around and promoting all of my friends' hard work.
Oh yeah,
that's great. Yeah, hopefully we'll be able to see you at a con or something, and I can. Well, I guess fist bump is that the thing to do at cons now, as opposed to shaking hands.
Pretty much here too.
Yeah. And then I can just buy an autograph, and then I can be awkward and then walk away. Because that's how I am. Whatever. Sorry, Tony, you were saying something?
Yeah, I was gonna say, since you like you do a little bit of everything on the sets, do you see yourself moving up to like the directing or writing? Like as you do a little bit of everything, do you see yourself doing something that like are the more you do it, you're like, okay, maybe I'll see myself directing or writing or something like that.
I come up with a lot of good stories. Definitely can brainstorm some really interesting ideas. Brandon would definitely entertain my idea of a script that he could put together for me. I have a lot of ideas of what I could do. I would just like to be part of the producing and the business side of it. I'm really good at voicing my work and getting things done. So producing is a lot of fun. And acting is a lot of fun, whether you're above the line or below the line. I just, as long as I'm involved in one of the two ways. Directing could be fun too. I think my voice might get on people's nerves after about the 8-10 hour shift.
No. Don't even worry about that. I just want to point out that this dude feels bad about saying he didn't like the car movies. He says, I got family. All I can see is Vin Diesel.
Fast and Furious.
Right. And Sergio's asking a question. I don't know why he's asking it, but he's always Sergio. It has nothing to do with what we're talking about. I'm sorry. He's just asking if you've seen the new Halloween movies. That literally has nothing to do with
I haven't been to the movie theaters other than our Metro Cinema, Garneau Cinema, which is an ancient, old, beautiful building we have in Edmonton to see Grotesque. I haven't been to one of those big theaters and paid all the millions of dollars to see a movie.
I go to the small theaters. Like there's a small theater in my area that is like cheap, and it's no one goes to it, so it's almost always like fairly empty, and I feel a little safer there. But I can still probably Well,
I'm going to see Avatar.
Oh yeah,
I'm waiting for Avatars.
I've never seen the first one.
No,
that bad. No. I'm sorry. I've never seen the first one. I'm sorry, guys. I don't know what to tell you. I'm sorry.
No, I'm not the way he said I've seen the first one.
I've never. I'm sorry. But anyways, it's just what? Anyways.
Why not pay the money to see the movies? Because I'm a broke actor.
Yeah. It's not just like, hey, you want to be in this independent movie? Here's $1 billion. It's not like that.
Yeah, but the thing is, I'm a movie fan, and the last movie I saw in the theaters was the second Hobbit movie. And with me, it's always I either get the tallest person sitting in front of me or the loudest person sitting next to me on their cell phone. It's not the same. And then
it's
when
not
you're
like
paying,
that now either. You don't have like people like it's literally a ghost town when you go to these theaters. At least for me.
Yeah, I haven't been like the one by me is like the surrounding towns coming together because there's not really much unless you want to travel 40 minutes away. So this one's like 15 minutes from everything, so you get a little bit of everything coming into one. And it's always like, okay, let me, get the worst of the worst kind of deal.
Yeah, so you walk in there sizing motherfuckers up, you're like, all right, I can take that. I can take that. The group of kids over there are gonna have a hard time with, but
but on that note, hey, because we're just about an hour, so I want to make sure that that Jamie's able to get in her like where people could follow her and everything. Just real quick, do you have anything else in the works, like anything coming out soon that people could possibly check out? People like as in myself.
Well, always watch Higher Universe Pictures. Brandon Reines is always coming out with new things that he creates in Edmonton. We are not doing The Haunt next year. However, we will be evolving as a different creation. I guess you could say. I don't want to stop haunting. So I got to figure out a new answer to that. Any kind of fundraising is always on my plate. And it's winter time, so we have a winter snow festival that we watch our indie film outside on a big snow screen.
Oh, wow.
Snow screen.
That's
and
awesome.
I'm always there to support whether I can make it in person or online. So I'll definitely be online, Facebook, Instagram, Jaime Hill voiceover. Always spell it the Jaime.
I'm
There
sorry.
actually is a Jaime Hill voiceover spelled the other way, and she's a very nice person. We've spoken to each other. You know, maybe one day we'll work together. The two Jaime Hill voiceovers.
A dueling Jamies.
Yeah, and that's my email too, jaimehillvoiceover@gmail.com. And basically every platform is about the same. Jaime.vo or jaime.hill.vo on Instagram. I really do answer most of my messages on Facebook Messenger, though.
Nice. Cool.
Question.
Thank you very much.
Quick question. You said on the snow screen, is that like can people like enter their films or short films?
Yeah.
Or is that like
film festival? Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, local film festival. And I already know of a couple people that entered, so I know there's a few people that I'll be tagging.
That's awesome.
Perfect.
It's cool. So, Angel, where can people follow you?
Just hit me up on That Strange Show or my personal Instagram, Facebook, Spotify, all that kind of stuff. Go check out our newest episode. Kevin's on it. We were talking about all the handsome boys and the sadness.
Yeah.
I was like, where's this going?
I was just like, huh? I don't remember that. What is that? We recorded it a long time ago.
Yeah.
So, Tony, what about yourself?
You can find me at Tony Has 9 Fingers on YouTube, where I do movie reviews, unboxings, anything movie related. It'll be on there. Tony Has 9 Fingers on Twitter. Tony Has 9 Fingers on TikTok, which is actually my quickest growing, platform, where I do lives, which we had a few people come in from, which I appreciate. So check me out on there. I do everything movie related.
You do work,
movies and stuff. So
I
check me
pop
out there. Check out Tony's movies on Instagram, where I show off the movies behind me. And of course, here on the Wicked Horror Show, most Tuesday nights at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, whether we have an awesome guest like Jamie or we just talk horror movies. So check us out. Kevin.
Cool. Just stay knuckle on Instagram. Besides doing this, I'm also part of Black and White Fright and Violence Buffet. And there's another new show that's coming out soon. I can't tell you exactly when, but it's featuring a cast member from the movie Scream. So it's me, my friend Jar Jeremy, and a cast member from Scream. And it'll be fun. So I'll get some more information once I have it. But we already recorded the intro. I was up in his neck of the woods doing that over the weekend.
Nice.
Maybe that's why I'm sick. But anyways, thanks for watching / listening, and thanks Jamie again for coming.
Jamie, thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Nice to meet you, and definitely stay in touch.
Yeah, definitely. All right, thanks.
No, I'm not going anywhere. I just started now.
Let's go.
Bye.